We're going to go straight to the scriptures. Again, this is the difference between cherry picking and quoting passages out of context and quoting in context that are explicit. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be quoting passages that are not out of context. They are not cherry picked because these are in context and they are explicitly clear and consistent. And I hope within this video you will see and know this for yourself. Let's begin with Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 35 and 39. We begin, "Unto you it was shown, Israel, that you may know that Yeshua is Elohim, there is none else beside him." Verse 39, "So know therefore this day, and consider it in your hearts, that Yeshua, he is God, in the heavens above, and on the earth beneath, there is none else." Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4, the Shema. "Shema Yisrael, Yehovah Eloheinu, Yehovah Echad." Hear, O Israel, Yehovah is our Elohim, Yehovah is one, Echad. Now, when you have his name in the sentence, this is basic grammatical understanding, basic grammar. It's a pronoun, a proper noun. When you have a name in a sentence, it makes it a proper noun. The noun makes it clear that it is singular because his name is there. Yehovah is our Elohim, Yehovah is one, period. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. "See now that I," God is speaking, "I am he, and there is no God, lowercase g, Elohim, with me," or mighty one. "There is no one with me." Isaiah chapter 42, verse 8. "For I am Yehovah, that is my name, and my glory I shall not share with another." Very, very clear, very explicit. This is a passage that is absolutely clear. There is no need for commentary. It's in context. It's about him. He is speaking about himself. "I am Yehovah, that is my name, and I share my glory with no one." Isaiah 43, verses 10 through 11, he says to all of Israel, us, throughout history, "You are my witnesses, says Yehovah, and my servant whom I've chosen." Isaiah 53. Why is that? Here's the point. "That you may know and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. I am Yehovah." And here's the point. "And besides me, there is no Savior." You see? So therefore, if you're calling on two names, there's a problem. True Israel has always, throughout history, recognized the truth and stood by this and died for this. Since the time of Moshe until today, only Israel, real Israelites. Okay? Isaiah 44, verse 6, "For thus says Yehovah, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yehovah of hosts, I am the first, and I am the last, and besides me," once again, there is no God. Now this would have been a great passage for God to say, there is someone else besides me. Here's my son, or the Messiah to come. Nothing, not a clue and not a hint. These are all explicit passages. Now what Christians and missionaries do, Messianics and other fake movements, is now the Messianics and Christians are not the fake movements. I'm talking about the other ones. What they'll do is they'll quote passages out of context. They are not explicit. They are not in the context of who is God. They are always sound bites of stuff that's off topic, that is not on the topic of who is God. And there's never fails, no matter what they're quoting. It's always out of context, always cherry-picked, always not at all the subject of which they are trying to prove their case. Whereas mine are all on topic, in context, and explicit. There is no need for commentary or explanations. It's very clear. Even a toddler can understand that these passages are very clear. Let's keep going here. Hosea chapter 13, verse 4. "Yet I am Yehovah your God, from the land of Egypt. You shall know no God but me, for there is no Savior besides me." Very, very clear. No Savior besides me. he should say at least a clue, except in the future. But there will be a Savior besides me. No, there is no Savior. This is eternal. This is for all time to be read. Isaiah 46, verse 9, remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me. There's nothing like him. Not even like him. Now again, another passage where God could have made it very clear that there was someone else with him, or like him, or will be like him in the future. He does not care to mention this here at all. Again, in context versus cherry picking. Isaiah 45, verses 5 through 6. For I am Yehovah, and there is none else. There is no God besides me. I girded you, though you have not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none besides me. I am Yehovah, and besides me there is none else. Verse 18 of chapter 45 of Isaiah. It says, for thus says Yehovah, the creator of heavens, God himself that formed the earth and made it. He established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am Yehovah, and besides me there is none else. Over and over, it's very, very clear what God is trying to say here. There is no ambiguity whatsoever. It's absolutely clear. Exodus chapter 33. And he said, you cannot see my face, for there is no man that can see me and live. Psalms 146, verse 3. Put not your trust in princes, nor in the salvation of man, in whom there is no help, salvation. No man. And yet Christians and Messianics do put their hopes in men. So do fakes, fake movements who are trying to be Israelites, who are not. They put their salvation in a man. Now they'll say, well, he was a God, man, he was divine. Again, this is not supported in the Hebrew scriptures, the real Israelite scriptures. Nowhere. Ezekiel 28, verses 9 and 10. Will you yet say before him that slays you, I am God? But you shall be a man, and no God in the hand of him that slays you. You shall die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, says Yehovah Elohim. Now, I can easily say this is a passage to refute the Trinitarian belief, or that God became a man. It's saying here, will you say before him, Jesus or Yeshua, I am God? But you shall be a man, and no God in the hand of him that slays you. The Romans, we know, slayed and crucified over 100,000 Jews, we are told by the historians. Over 100,000 Jews were crucified. Jesus was not the only one who was crucified. But you shall die the death of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken. He's saying, look, you're claiming to be God, which I don't believe he really did, ever. He never did. You will die the death of the uncircumcised. This can also be a verse to counter the claim that he is God, or a man could be God. Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 6. You, even you, are Yehovah alone. You have made the heaven of heavens, with all their hosts, the earth, and all things that are therein, the seas and all therein. And you preserve the all, and the hosts of heaven worship you. It doesn't say they are worshipped or worship them. No, one, God alone. 1 Chronicles chapter 17, verse 20. O Yehovah, there is none like you, neither is there any God besides you, according to all that we have heard with our ears. This is real Israel since the time of Moshe at Mount Sinai. Isaiah 45, verses 20 through 22. Assemble yourselves and come, draw near together, that you are escaped of the nations, the rest of the earth, the rest of the world. That you are escaped of the nations who have no knowledge, that set up wood of their graven image, and pray unto a God that cannot save. Even a lowercase g, mighty God, everlasting Father. Again, they use these passages out of context to prove, for example, Isaiah 9, verse 6. Again, assemble yourself, for they have no knowledge. The nations have no knowledge. And set up wood, the cross of their graven image, and pray unto a God that cannot save. There is one Savior for Israel. That's Yehovah alone. That's why we only have ever praised only one name. Real Israelites, not fakos. Tell you and bring them near. Bring the nations near. Yeah, let them take counsel together. Who has declared this from ancient times? He's saying to Israel. Who has declared this from ancient times? Who has told it from that time? Have not I, Yeshua, and there is no God besides me, a just God and Savior. There is none beside me. Look unto me and be saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am God, and there is none else. I mean, you don't get more clearer than that. You don't get more explicit than that. And the verse goes on. You could keep reading here. Again, these are not out of context. These are not cherry-picked. This is a difference between cherry-picking and in context, and sound bites and explicit verses.